Hello, my name is Tharusha Mapligama and I'm actually a graduate from interior design from AOD. For my final major project, I actually got inspired by the Easter bombings that took place, and I wanted to sort of look at what the people wanted the most after the attacks. And two of the things they actually wanted was freedom and security. And what I did with this information was that I created a small art piece which helped me to extract shapes and ideas and actually implement them into the building itself. Once I've done that, I ended up with my final idea and my final project, which ended up being a security agency that would monitor everyone living in the country 24/7, but it would aim to actually provide security beforehand. So it would actually be able to track down and stop events from happening before they would actually happen. At the same time, I also wanted to instill a little bit of fear into people by sort of having the building visible to the public. So they would actually see the structure, but they won't really be able to see what's happening on the inside, to sort of create a small disconnect between the people and the building itself.
Hi, my name is Shirlene. I studied interior design at AOD, and I'm just going to talk about my final project. It's called the Taitro Project. It's based on corruption and journalism in Sri Lanka, and the project is used as a tool to build up journalism so that it alone can eradicate corruption from the country entirely. So the project is consisted of a large auditorium space where journalists can speak up and not be afraid of the threats they will come under, etc. They also have academic resources like high-tech libraries and media labs, and the space is located in one of the rooftops at the World Trade Center. So it is highly secured, and they are well facilitated in this space because it is one of the highly used areas and people can access the space easily, but also since it's a rooftop area.
Hi, my name is Chiara Di Silva. My final project was titled Coalis. The project dealt with, it was based on racial tensions in Sri Lanka and how to tackle these problems with the use of art and design. I conducted a survey where I had spoken to a lot of people, especially young children, and I found out that even though we Sri Lankans think that we are empathetic, we actually aren't, and there exists in our society a massive racial empathy gap, and my project mainly focused on this gap. I also conducted a little experiment where within a small time frame I had given a box to be painted by my friends. It was done here at the CIT. The project showed how people come together when it comes to being creative and when it comes to designing, irrespective of race, religion, gender, breaking all of those barriers. People come together when art is involved because art has its own language and it speaks to us in color and shape and form. I also spoke to a lot of survivors and people who had experienced the war personally and who had lost loved ones, and I asked them to show me what they felt in the form of an artwork, and from their paintings what I got was a lot of angular shapes, hard edges, cuts and scrapes, and similar, just angry movement, angry shape and form. And what I did was I took the 3D of that, the 2D versions of those, and I made them into a 3D model, which is what my building looks like. The building shows a lot of twists and turns. So within a space where there is a lot of twists and turns, one would be forced to feel a certain way. Where a ceiling is a little bit lower, you would feel trapped, and where the ceilings are higher, you would feel a sense of liberation.
Hi, my name is Aishahale and I'm one of the interior design graduates from AOD. So for reveal, I'm showcasing my final major project, and it's about a treatment space for fantasy-prone personality, which is a mental disorder which causes you to be unable to distinguish between what is real and what is in your imagination. So I've chosen CIT as the location, and I've used the 5th and 6th floors and cut the slab in between them to get a double height, and there's 3 floors in the space, where a reception area and an informal interactive space is on the ground floor. The first mezzanine floor is for people who want to role play, want to do whatever they want. It's basically an interaction space where they come and they share ideas and thoughts with other people. Cosplaying as anime characters plays an important role in the space because it promotes openness and honesty, and one of the reasons that fantasy-prone personality is a harmful disorder is because it causes people to lose themselves in their imagination. For the color palette, I've looked into Takashi Murakami, who is a Japanese artist, and I've used one of his artworks called Hehehe Dub and taken the color palette from that. And for the materials, I've used traditional Japanese materials such as bamboo, rice paper, and different types of wood, since wood blocks were what traditional Japanese Japanese paintings were printed on. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, I'm Madanayaka. This is my final project, which is relating to Tech Addiction Rehabilitation Center, as 2018 by Health Organization has determined that tech addiction is a main issue which is surrounding in the world. All of that, I thought to use it as my final year project, and also the final year project I choose my site as Colombo 7 Horton Place, which is also Colombo as known as really high of tech addictors. Client of the project I choose is Hemas PLC, which is into the healthcare facilities providing in Sri Lanka. According to that, my final project site is related with the 2 floors, which is ground floor and the first floor. Ground floor mainly it's for the medication area with the dark therapy treatment. Dark therapy treatment basically for the people who addicted to technology, and also technology given them bad habits of watching it with the bright surfaces and the bright lights. With the dark treatment therapy, it can reduce their eye problems. With all of them, the medication area facilitated with clinical facilities, psychologist consultations, laboratory facilities, examination rooms, and the first floor is basically for the active area. Active area is mainly for them to after the dark therapy treatment, which is giving them sunlight therapy. And also the mainly the sunlight therapy, I have chosen the interior to open to the sky, which is with the hot tub area, open shower area, yoga studio, horticulture, gardening, and also a gymnasium. Get them to fit and be to the socialize with the leisure time. When they use those functions, they can get together with the other people and have a friendly chat with them, and go to the very easily to get them into the society. So basically, when I'm doing the interior, I very concerned about the material using, as when the wood, which is I have used oak woods, which is reducing depression, anxiety of them, and some steel, which is also giving them a cool surface, and a dark surfaces them to reduce their anxiety, depression, isolation, and also eye problems because of using high technology. Although I believe my project has covered them these tech addictors to get a very good treatment without going for a mental hospital. These functions may able to get them a good health care and a mental stability during their treatment period.
Hello, my name is Nora Ismail. I am the final graduate of AOD Interior Design. My project was based on sex education because there's a lack of that in Sri Lanka. The project was inspired by this book. This book was a book that was put into schools back in 2019. However, when the new president came into play, he decided to take it off because he said that it was too controversial for our young youth. But unfortunately, when I looked through this book, it was kind of hard to find. This book did not have any detailing of sex or mental health. It was mainly telling you not to smoke, to not disrespect your parents. That was the bare needs, and this book already had the contents of what people expected in their own science books. However, teachers themselves weren't willing to teach that because it was deemed controversial. So that was the whole start of my project. Moving on, to experiment with trying to understand how to gain my concept, I made artwork, I made a concept model, and I also researched books. The concept model was made off of 3 parts because I put a survey out to people, and out of 100 people, I tried to analyze how people understood what sex education was. There were 3 types of people. One was the batch of people who were willing to understand what sex education was. The second batch was the people who didn't really want to understand, but they were open to listening to people. And the third were the people who were completely offset by it. They were like, what is this nonsense? Don't tell me about it. So there were 3 of those. So with that, I understood that people were either transparent, or translucent, or opaque. So with that, I chose the materials to put on this concept model. And you could see that there is the acrylic, the mesh, as well as cardboard representing the 3 people. And the shapes that were used were the graphs taken by the survey. One of the other pieces that inspired the space was my artwork, and it was meant to show how a man once made a taboo mistake can be marked for life in society, even if they try to cover it with camouflage. And as you can see, the colors that were inspired in this artwork were put into the place. So the materials used within the space were glass, carpeting, as well as wood and marble. So it can all be placed here. Within the space is basically trying to promote sex education. So there is a cafe, there is an erotic store, as well as a visual graphics kind of display for people to understand more of sex education and to have interaction with it. We also have a seminar space and library because we want people to be able to have open information to all of that. The space also includes a clinic where people can come and get checked up, whether it be for contraceptives or for pregnancy tests or whatever they deem fit that they need medical help with, that they're too shy to go to doctors, so they have the space there. So there's therapy rooms, there's an interactive therapy room, as well as a doctor's office for people to be able to talk to whoever they need to get the right information.